All right, hey, how's it, everybody? It is a 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm thinking it might be 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folks. I am Matt Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and for some reason, right before I pressed start, I was struck with the giggles. No idea what it is. That tickled me so pink, but I am super stoked. Oh my, this will be an interesting show. I am super stoked that BBB Bang was first in the house and Terry in Scotland was a short, quick second coming in. Aloha, Terry in Scotland. Aloha, BBB Bang. And let's see here. We've probably got some other folks here. All right, we have got, all right, good. Lady Misty coming in on that YouTube side. And Rick laughing at me because I've got the giggles. Exactly. Some people don't know when it's appropriate to laugh, and other people just don't care. Oh my goodness. All right then. So as you can see, my brain is frizzle frazzle fried. So eMusic, so happy to be there. Go K, no problem. I don't even know. I feel like maybe it's best if we all go K, right? All right, so Mama Sean, so happy to see you here. Okay, we've got a weather forecast for Tampa, Florida, which I don't know what Tampa is. I've heard of Tampa, but it looks like negative 24 degrees Celsius. I'm thinking that is just a made-up weather forecast. Oh, it's in Finland, not Florida. Well, then it's probably not made up if it's negative 24. Oh my God, PPP Bang, are you like, I hope you're at home drinking hot soup and hot chocolate, because I know you don't like coffee. But good Lord, no wonder coffee is such a popular drink in Finland. You gotta have the warmth all the time. And Terry in Scotland, no, I don't think I do. I mean, it must have just surprised me, because literally right before I was about to hit, to start the stream, those giggles, they just erupted. So why don't we get things started? And maybe we'll get things straightened out. All right, then. Let's do it. What? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. All right, then. Well, the intro has gone missing. We do have background music. We will have some Lono listening break. But, as far as almost everything else, it's going to be hit or miss. Earlier today, I had a technical difficulty with my detachable E-drive. It's just my separate, my thumb, it's not a thumb drive, but it's my separate disk drive. It's pretty much where I keep everything for this stream, is on that drive. So my computer doesn't get bogged down with stuff. And I had an issue with my detachable drive. External hard drive. Thank you, Gina. I'm like, it's called a thing, but whatever. Yeah, so I had a problem with my detachable external hard drive, and then I thought I fixed it, but I realize now that maybe I didn't. So we might be running we might not have nearly as much stuff that I thought was loaded, because was loaded. All right, then. So, why don't I just go back and say hello to Gina, and I'm going to say hello to Mama Sean. And let's see here else who came in that I might not have seen, so I can avoid dealing with the reality that is in front of me. Yes, it is actually right now, Rick, it is a jarred drive. That is exactly it, a jarred drive. All right, so I was so worried about my stupid hair. If you're wondering why my hair looks weird, it's because I got it cut earlier this week. And, you know, hairdressers are supposed to, like, know how to do hair and stuff. And I guess they do, sort of. But you know and I know that your hairdresser never does your hair the way you like it to be done. I mean, you tell them, and they're like, yeah, here's what I think you wanted. And it's just like, I mean, I'm not saying with the cut. I'm saying with the style. You know, the cut's fine, but it's just like, her products are all wrong, and my hair was just not looking good. So I was dealing with my hair instead of maybe doing some due diligence on some tech checks. So, E-Music, thank you. Yeah, no, everything seems weird today, but you know, and Rick, you should have backup for my backup for my backup. Well, the thing is it's not a case of not having the backup. It's still there. What it is I think my streaming software, like, forgot the path, and I have to remind it of it. So, I don't know. We'll see. And so, I guess, in the first installment of We'll See, I guess we'll see. Let's just see. So, check this out, you guys. Boop. I just saw this. Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. Despair not. Well, I will have some despair, not about my hair, but about the tech, as it turns out. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'm jinxing it, or maybe I'm not. We'll see. But check this out, you guys. This picture was a picture taken of a Native American canoe from the Molokai tribe in the Pacific Northwest. This picture was taken in 1900, all right? 124 years ago. So, this picture of this canoe, this particular canoe, any guess what they just came back from doing and what this canoe was built for? Now, the Molokai tribe is the furthest northwest tribe in the continental United States. Obviously, Alaska's tribes are further northwest, but as far as the lower 48, they are at the very tip. Like, if you look at Washington, and it sort of looks like a big, fat, squished mitten, and, like, the thumb is the closest to the ocean, they're on the very top, upper, pointy tip of that thumb. That is where the Molokai tribe is located, right where the Pacific Ocean and the Strait of Juan de Fuca, if I had a map. But yeah, I'm just curious if you guys have any guesses as to what this canoe was used for. Because when I read what this canoe was used for, my jaw dropped. And, let's see here. Mama Sean waiting for more rain. Gina yelling into the void. Hey, Deb, good to see you from Kentucky. I'm just wondering here if anybody can guess what this particular canoe can do for them. Because if you guessed whaling, you would be right. Check that out, you guys. They go hunting for whales. They went hunting for whales in this particular canoe. And I'm a little gobsmacked by that. And after I got gobsmacked by that, I went and saw this Maori canoe pop up on my stream. This canoe holds 80 paddlers plus 50 passengers. I don't know if you guys believe that or not, and I guess I don't know if I should believe that or not, because, I mean, honestly, this looks flippin' photoshopped, but I was reading it from a fairly legit source, and it is the largest canoe in the Maori culture. They're called something different. They're called, I'm not going to tell you what they're called. I'm sorry. I think they're called wakas, and it's the longest one and largest one ever. It's ceremonial. This one is purely ceremonial. It's only brought out on certain holidays, but apparently it requires 80 paddlers and can hold an additional 50 passengers. That's 130 people, dude. I mean, like I said, I thought this canoe was pretty impressive for hunting whales. And I still think this canoe is pretty impressive for hunting whales. But even though this one wasn't hunting anything, I feel like this one is just way more impressive. Rick, redwood canoe for the size. Rick, it's from New Zealand, so I cannot speak to the type of wood they have access to for their traditional canoes. But I have to say, I was wondering, like, what kind of tree grows that tall and straight. You know, not all trees grow that tall and straight. And so Terry coming in with wonderful reality. And okay, waka. Okay, now you guys, I don't speak the Maori language, so I don't know if it's vaka. I don't know if it's waka. Okay? And I apologize for that, but I'm just gonna let you know I don't know. So I'm calling it waka, even though I really am feeling like it's not. Are usually canoes ranging in size from small, unamorted canoes used for fishing to decorated war canoes, waka tau, up to 130 feet long. And so, yeah, I would say this is the up to 130 feet long variety. And yes, Rick, obviously, New Zealand must have big trees. Yes, Kulika 1965 Bambucha canoe. Yeah, and I'm not sure what kind of tree they make this out of, but I can tell you that the Maka make their canoes usually out of Western red cedar. Western red cedars. Now, by the way, remember this canoe was used for hunting whales back in 1900. But this canoe, built with red cedar. Red cedar can be very tall and very straight. But I don't think red cedar even grows to a height like that. To be able to support that, like, I mean, they might grow to 130 feet, but they're not going to produce a log that's worthy of a canoe to build a canoe. You're able to build a canoe with that's 130 feet long, right? If that's what I'm trying to say. So Terry coming in with more info because honestly, I am very curious. During the classic period, about 1500 to 1770, Hapu would select a Totara, once again, apologies, tree and prepare it years ahead for felling. Totara is lightweight wood with the with a high natural oil content that helps prevent rot. Nice. Okay, cool. So I'm curious what that tree looks like. Unfortunately, since I don't have it up, I can't show you. But interesting, lightweight wood and then the high natural oil content. That totally makes sense. You know, I don't really know much about quote-unquote rot-resistant wood, but I know that cedar is considered a rot-resistant wood as well. And I also know that cedar has a very high oil content. So, and I guess that makes sense, like, you know, when you think of that. And Darlene coming in with the, how do you go after one huge whale in a canoe only that size? I'll stay on shore, thank you. I cannot even begin to sympathize with you enough, Darlene. That, you know, now pardon me for being completely sexist and conforming to traditional gender roles, but I'm gonna let the men take care of that, okay? Now, I understand that there might have been women who took part in the whale hunt, and that's fine. I'm not gonna be one of those women, okay? But I do know that part of, like, how they go hunting with the canoes like that, I don't know. I'm assuming that the canoe actually needs to be sort of small and swift and agile when hunting the whale, right? So, and I do know that when they do, like, harpoon a whale and bring it back into shore, they keep it afloat with sealskin buoys that have been filled with air. So the whale doesn't sink and they're not like dragging this sunken anchor. The sealskin buoys actually act, as floats to help the killed animal get towed to shore. But yeah, I can only assume that the small size is due to speed and agility. On the other hand, a small size boat against a larger creature such as a whale, oh my god. I mean, oh my god. And Mama Sean, I know it rides so low. That big canoe, Mama Sean says, rides so low in the water. I know. Like I said, it's used only for ceremonial purposes, so I can only assume that it never goes too far out to sea, and it is, mostly ceremonial as opposed to utilitarian. But yeah, it does look like it's so low in the water. But when and Rick actually bringing out a really good point, 80-person canoe would have 12,000 pounds of people in it too. So how do you come up with 12,000, dude? How big do you think these... Is that really how the math works out? Hold on. Wait, that's not what I did. Oh, crumbly. What? No, wait, hold on. Oh, no, actually, no. Okay, so, okay, yeah, okay, that's funny, Rick, because I was like, oh, we're gonna estimate 200 pounds, and yeah, and actually, yeah, with my 200-pound estimate, I came up with 16,000 pounds, so, yeah, wow, that is the way the math works out, holy crumb. But check this out, Rick, it's not only 80 paddlers, it's also plus 50 other passengers, so... Let's just be a math geek here. 130 passengers at 150 pounds each is actually 19,500 pounds. If the average person on that boat or canoe fully packed was 150 pounds, the average person, 150 pounds, 130 of them, you're almost at 20,000 pounds. No wonder that canoe is riding low in the water. Holy flirking snit. To be able to transport that much weight, that is so... It's amazing it floats. I am right there with you, Mama Sean. And, Rick, was this one of those old word math problems? Well, it's funny you should say that because, because math problems are the bane of every kid's existence, right? But at the same time, I mean, the word problems are, but at the same time, isn't that pretty much every math scenario that as an adult you get faced with? It's a problem that you have to figure out in your head with words and translate it to numbers, so yeah, if there's 80 paddlers. Now the real complicated one would be if there's 80 paddlers that average 200 pounds and 50 passengers that average 150 pounds, what would the weight of the people in the canoe be? But that's exactly it, Rick. Life is a word math problem. And let's see here. So I know that, okay, Rick says, I'm scrolling way up here because I missed what Rick was saying about the world record red cedar was the Quinault big cedar, which was the largest in the world outside of California redwoods and sequoias. 174-foot height. Right, but at 174-foot height, you still wouldn't have 130 feet of log for canoe size, right? You'd think? And let's see here. The Claylock Western Cedar split in half following a severe heavy wind combined with 5 days of saturating rain that twisted the 19.8-foot diameter. Ah, yes. Now, the Claylock Red Cedar I have seen many times because I've gone to Claylock many, many times. And let's see here. Terry now coming in about the New Zealand canoe. The war canoe traditionally was tapu, sacred. No cooked food was allowed in the craft, and the waka had to be entered over the gunwales, not the bow or stern, which were highly decorated with powerful symbols. Absolutely. Canoes were often painted with black or white, with black representing death. The main color was red, which stood for tapu. That makes sense. Okay. There we go. And let's see here. And yeah, plus the weight of the canoe. Well, precisely. And apparently, though, the canoe is made from very light wood. And Gina, yeah, when I first saw it, I assumed it was photoshopped. But when I was reading it from a source that seemed to be pretty legitimate. And as Terry pointed out, even if that particular picture was photoshopped, the canoes are known to be up to 130 feet long. So, like, even if that one wasn't 130 feet, like, apparently they do exist or did exist that large. And like I said, the source that I got that picture from mentioned that this canoe is only brought out for ceremonial purposes. It's not it's not regularly out in the water, I guess is what I'm saying. And like I also this is my assumption. If it's only used for ceremonial purposes and the water is not friendly that day, they're probably not taking it out. I'm guessing. I mean, it's because the source said it was a pretty old canoe, so they treat it like a treasure. And let's see here. Rick throwing down more math. Redwood weighs 28 pounds every 3 feet. I'll let you do the math. Rick, we wouldn't really be able to do the math though, would we? Because first off, is that board feet, or is that a log? The log, okay, cubic feet. All right, there we go. Well, we'd have to know how many cubic feet of wood it takes to make that canoe. And we don't really know how many cubic feet because we don't know the specific design, right? I mean, we know the length, but we don't necessarily know the depth of the wood, and how much has been hollowed out, right? There's too many variables there. That makes me sound smart. There's too many variables to solve this problem accurately. I don't have enough information. All right, so so speaking of well, we're not really speaking of it, but going back to my Giggle Fit at the beginning of the stream and my Giggle Fit, if you notice in the next couple weeks, next couple months, me turning a little bit batty, yes, there is reason for this. First off, we are in the middle of tax season. That is true. And if you've ever hung out here for more than a year, you'll know that sometimes I go a little bit stupid and batty during tax season. But this tax season, I thought I'd stir things up. This tax season, I was like, how am I going to make my life way more chaotic and potentially catastrophic? I know. I'm going to go off of gluten and cut back on my sugar. It won't affect my mood at all, unlike every other time I've done this. So, just to warn you, the last time I went off gluten, which was like, I don't know, it was probably 10 years ago. And I was off gluten for years. I relapsed, but the last time I went off gluten, it was about a 6-week process where I literally lost my mind. And I know people are like, oh, people use that. That's all hyperbole, blah, blah, blah. No, really, I lost my flippin' mind. My patience was at 0. And as an example of that, no, this is not something I'm bragging about. This is actually hugely embarrassing. Hugely embarrassing. but I'm going to admit it to you all. This is but one example of how I lost my mind when I went off gluten last time. I'm not sure if in your neighborhoods they have those self-checkouts at your grocery store. Well, my neighborhood has plenty of self-checkouts at the grocery store. And back in the day, I used to attempt to use them. Now I don't, for reasons such as this, but other reasons as well. But back in the day, I attempted to use them. Well, it wasn't working. Every item I scanned wasn't scanning. There was nothing that I just couldn't get the machine to work right. And so I left with the groceries in my cart. Oh, totally in front of everybody. Stormed my car in a rage. I didn't bag anything. I was just throwing it into the back of my car. The cashier chased after me. Luckily, because I was a regular there and they knew me there, they gave me a lot of leeway. But basically they were like, yeah, you can't do that. They were like, what are you doing? And I was like, the machine doesn't work and I'm just taking my food. You know, rah, rah, rah. No, not a proud moment. Not a proud moment. Anyway, they went back in, they scanned my stuff for me. Oh, really? Let's do that. Either way, while I am not hoping for another episode of, that, I am not, unaware of the possibility. So, yeah. So that's just the gluten thing. Then I decided to try to cut back on my sugar. Now, I cut back on my sugar. I don't really eat a lot of sugar anyway, but my two sugary sugars are my 1 soda pop a day. You know the soda. It's that Sprite lemonade. I'm hooked. And my coffee. I have cut the Sprite out. I tried the coffee. I cut the Sprite out, okay? All right, okay? I cut the Sprite out. And Gina, don't quit gluten, please. Oh, honey bunches, if I didn't have to quit gluten, I would not. But the inflammation in my body right now is so intense. Gluten bothers my autoimmune disorder and just wrecks my insides. I don't feel bad when I eat gluten, which is actually part of the problem. I don't feel any effects immediately. It's all blood work. It's all it affects everything inside of me, all flippin' wrong. And Aloha Misty, yeah, your son can't ever eat gluten, he's celiac. And first off, that is so miserable because of the pain, etc. But in a way, I almost wish I had a smidge of that discomfort when I eat. And I realize saying that is so disrespectful to the suffering that your son went through trying to figure it out, etc. But because I don't have any immediate negative ramifications when I eat the gluten, it is easier to cheat, even though I know I'm not supposed to, right? So it's a slippery slope. You know, after several years, it just came to a point where it was like, I really need real noodles. Noodles are what did it. Chinese noodles are actually what got me off the wagon. I found myself being creepy and just watching people eat Chinese noodles. Whenever I saw somebody eating chow mein or something, I would just watch them. And I caught myself one day and I was like, wow, you know, that's creepy. That's just creepy. Maybe you should just go eat a chow mein noodle. And so I did. And then I had more and more and more. And now, you know, like 10 years later, we're getting back off of gluten. So, yeah, exactly. Rick, if can, give up the sodas and juices. Exactly. And so I told myself, I was like, look, I know that LaCroix, because this stuff is really expensive, but at the same time, if I compare it to how many I get versus how much I pay for one bottle of soda, suddenly it's very cheap. And so I stocked up on LaCroix, and so far I'm doing pretty good. Aloha Misty, I know, you live between a Chinese food place and a Thai place. Aloha, Misty. My regular bar is a Chinese food place. The owners love me and they give me food every time I go there. It is going to be so heartbreaking. And some of the food that they give me is food that they feed their family. It's like the staff meals. It's like, oh, my cousin got my cousin made this and I wanted you to try it kind of stuff. I mean, we're talking, like, I got some pork belly pork belly I'll keep. I got some pork belly the other day from them. It was just delicious. Off menu. But, yeah, I'm going to have to turn down so much. I'm going to have to turn down so much deliciousness. And let's see here. What is going on? Why can't I scroll up? Here we go. Good Lord. And, all right, so. And, okay, so, PBB Bang, you just mentioned the word creepy, but it's an honest and curious question. Do I have a throwback picture to show of myself from the 90s or such? I actually do have, a picture from 1991. I think I even showed it on this stream once. God, I don't know where it is on my computer, but I do actually. And so while we take our Lono listening break, which we will in just a few minutes, I'll go see if I can look for it. It's a black and white picture of me. It was when I was it was taken in the yearbook editing office. I was an editor for the yearbook, one of the editors for the yearbook. And let's see here. Mama Sean, you just made pork char siu stir fry. It can be done. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, pork char siu. Yum. And Darlene, I feel like it's going to be maybe a little bit easier than it was the first time. For two reasons. First off, I'm telling myself that because I have to. Second off, though, is before I was doing it, I hadn't lived gluten-free yet, so I didn't understand or know how to find or I didn't have knowledge of gluten-free products. There wasn't as many as there are now. It was harder to find gluten-free. I wasn't aware of like restaurants where I could get gluten-free, or I wasn't really savvy to how to make, like, say if I went to Taco Bell, like there's really not a lot on Taco Bell that's gluten-free, and I didn't have enough life hacks to figure out like, well, yeah, you know, nothing might be gluten-free, but if you get a blah, 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 you know, thing with the rice and the beans and you can mix it and make a power bowl, or, you know, I didn't have these tools that I now currently have, having lived gluten-free, at my disposal when I was first going gluten-free. And Terry in Scotland, luckily gluten-free beer is readily available. That is true. However, my friend, my beer of choice is Pabst Blue Ribbon, and it only has scant gluten. And when I say scant gluten, I think like in order to be considered gluten-free, you have to have like 200 parts per million or less gluten, and Pabst only has like 220 parts per million gluten. So it's like so scant that I'm not gonna worry about that yet. I mean, that it will be something I'm tackling, but luckily the beer that I like is so watered down that it's actually almost gluten-free. And Darlene, positive vibes, sent the way. Thank you. It is hard though. You need to be a bit more careful with your eating, for you've cheated a bit lately, and it doesn't take much to throw you off. Truer words. Like I said, it was it was my need for chow mein noodles, and then I can trace. It was my need for chow mein noodles, and then I needed a cookie, and then I wanted some French bread with brie. And once I did those 3 things, it was all over, baby. I think it was the French bread with brie that really just like took me over the edge. Because come on, guys. French bread with brie. French bread with brie. And Darlene, yeah, in about 3 weeks, I'll be doing my yearly blood work as well. And so we're gonna see. But hey there, C Honda. So good to see you. I was just giving everybody a warning that in the next couple of months, you might see me going a little bit crazy. I'm going through some dietary changes, cutting out gluten and sugar. And the last time I did the gluten part, I lost my bloody mind. I just did. And PPP Bang, food is so insanely expensive here nowadays that I don't need to worry about it. You can't afford to get some... I can't afford to get on some pounds. Yeah, there you go. Luckily, I actually am able to cook for fairly cheap. I eat a lot of rice, and rice is generally not that expensive. And so, actually, I don't even eat a lot of it. What I've actually been eating the most of are these stupid corn tortillas that they have 8 grams of carbs in them, but 7 of those grams are fiber. And I have been finding, like, whenever I get a craving for a piece of bread, I eat the corn thing instead. And, well, it's working so far. Because I haven't, and the fact, and here's the secret, you guys. I've been not eating gluten for a couple weeks now. Like, and so, so if you've noticed me going completely insane in the last couple of weeks, that's why. But it has actually been a couple weeks since I've started not doing gluten. And, well, I can tell you this. The inflammation that I feel in my body has gone down. So something is happening. What do I do when I crave chocolate? I eat chocolate because chocolate doesn't have gluten. Reese's peanut butter cups don't have gluten. Reese's peanut butter holiday shapes, like the Christmas tree or the Easter egg or the heart, or I don't even know if they have a heart, but anything holiday shaped, Reese's peanut butter cups has gluten in it, but it has sugar. That is true. However, I don't really crave the chocolate very often. Like, I know, for somebody my size, it's like, what are you talking about? No, for real. I probably eat a candy bar maybe once a week at the most. And I know that's a lot, but you know what? It's better than every day. But basically, it's when I have that craving, I generally go with it because I know that if I don't satisfy that craving, what that will end up doing is I'll end up just binging. And so I'll maybe get a peanut butter cup because I really like the peanut butter cups. But I can't have the ones that are shaped because they have gluten. Yes, indeedy. But you know what? Now that I think about it, I can't even think of the last time I had a candy bar. So, and I go to the convenience store almost every day. So trust me, they're there for the taking. Oh, I mean, not for the taking. I'm not crazy like that anymore. For the purchasing. And exactly, Darlene, binge eating is far worse. Yeah, because basically what it is, if I don't give into a chocolate craving or a sweets craving, what I will end up doing is buying a pint of ice cream. And a pint of ice cream will get in one night. It just will. And a pint of ice cream is way worse than one chocolate bar. So once the chocolate bar is done, the chocolate bar is done. That pint of ice cream, even if I put half of it back in the freezer, doesn't mean I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night and finish it. And PPP Bang, chocolate gives you pimples every time. That is so weird. I luckily don't. I luckily don't have that problem, but maybe I wish I had that problem. And Rick, no, I'm not saying self-checkout. I'm specifically not saying self-checkout, but I think I mentioned this actually, but I'm going to mention it again. Did you know that some 7-Elevens are experimenting with a self-checkout aisle? The 7-Eleven that I go to almost every day is experimenting with a self-checkout kiosk. What? Okay. I mean, they might as well just say, steal here now. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And yeah, Terry, that is basically what happened the first time I didn't pay for that was, hey lady, what do you think you're doing? Are you gonna pay for that? And Darlene, you know, I used to be that way with sweets being my weakness, but since I stopped eating them, I don't crave them as much. However, when I start eating them again, I start craving them again. So it is sort of easier to not... Wow, I'm about to say something that's so obvious and so insulting, but it's really easier to not eat it when you're not eating it. Yeah. You can quote me on that. It's really easy to not eat that when you're not already eating that. Okay? Words of wisdom. Okay? Yeah. And let's see here. Verity, so you're a huge binge drinker when it comes to sugar. A binge drinker, I think you just mean binger. When it comes to sugar, once you start eating it, you just can't stop. Precisely, yeah, that is exactly what happens. And I know, Terry, isn't it like so deep? Oh my God. It really made sense in my head before I said it out loud, okay? And Darlene, you know what? Actually, I just sort of, I think, lied to you because I said that I don't crave the sweets as much, and you know, if you don't eat them as often, you don't crave them as much. But you are right, actually, and I'm kind of over my sweet craving. I just lied to you. I at the time I thought I was telling you the truth, but you bring up a good point. Once it's in the house, all bets are off. Which is why I don't crave the sweets, because I don't keep sweets in the house. And when I say I don't keep sweets in the house, I'm talking I don't keep jam, I don't keep jelly, I try not to keep syrup. I can keep honey in the house because I don't really like honey that much. But you know what? The reason why I don't crave sweets and the reason why I don't have sweets is because I don't have sweets in the house to crave. The reason why I crave other stuff is because it's in the house to crave. But I will tell you this. I've had, like, when it comes to some gross potato chips, I will keep them in the house for months. Like, I'll eat them and realize these are really not that good. But even when I have a craving for something greasy and I know those potato chips are in there, I won't touch them because they're gross. Craving M&Ms now, or really any kind of chocolate. Peanut M&Ms. And let's see here. Deb Case. All right, y'all, go take that dog out. Come back if you want. And we actually are going to go to a Lono listening break now. And let's see here. But before that, PPP Bang, would I agree that women have a stronger craving for sweets like chocolate? You've heard about it, and to me it seems true. Most of your male friends never eat anything sweet, only savory. You know, I have no idea, like, anecdotally speaking, yes, I totally think it seems like girls are more sweet oriented. But when I think about it, it's like, I don't know, man, like, a lot of my friends, you know, my dude friends, like, they've got junk drawers full of candy that they just, like, have on hand, whereas, you know, and they'll eat from it every day, whereas I don't really know any women who have junk drawers full of candy. And so, you know, I do feel like, yes, it seems that way, but I'm very curious if a scientific double-blind study would reveal, you know, that there really is no difference. I don't know, actually, and I'm kind of curious. But, Terry in Scotland, your weakness is dark chocolate tea biscuits. You're down to your last stack already. But, oh, dude. Dark chocolate tea biscuits are good, but it's the hobnobbers with dark chocolate. No, hobnobbers with milk chocolate that are my absolute I cannot control myself. You will, that packet will not last a day in my house. For those of you who don't know, tea biscuits are these digestive biscuits that they're almost like a cracker, but they're kind of sweet. Sometimes they're covered, half covered with dark chocolate or milk chocolate. They're served with tea. They're very delicious. But they've got another version that's like an oatmeal version called Hobnobbers. Oh my. Oh my. Those are some of my favorite cookies in the entire universe. I cannot lie. Even if I was off sugar and off gluten and someone sent me a package, which I'm imploring you not to, because this is what will happen, I will eat it. I will eat it before I get home from the post office where I picked it up. And oh, shortbread cookies. Oh, ginger cookies. Oh. And see, Honda, you know, I was actually wondering if there was a correlation between chocolate cravings and women's menstrual cycle. I know that anecdotally speaking seems to be a thing, but I wasn't sure of the veracity of that perception. I'm using some $5 words today, and there you go. So, Jerry and Scotland, I knew you'd know what I was talking about when I said hobnobs. Those are so flippin' good. But before we get distracted on cookies, because you know we can, we're going to take a Lono listening break, and I am going to look for a picture to satisfy PP Bang's request. I'm not going to promise I can find it, but I'm going to look for it. So, here we go. Let's take a listen to some Lono. Boop.
Pule o Molokai. Powerful prayers. E aloha no kaimi kahua, o ka hula piko ea, ko amana, anoha no koino a kako, kalahui o Molokai. Hey, no, no. Me Molokai nui a hina, e ola mau, e aloha wau I a oe, o me hana o Pule o. Me Molokai nui a hina, e ola mau, e aloha wau I a oe, o me hana o Pule o. E aloha no kaya kea, o aloha kamehameha me, maka ahenana. Kalahuri o Molokai luna.
All right, it looks like Devin came in and she's going to be semi-K. Semi-K is always okay with me. We love it when people can chat because this is a chatter show, but we know that people got lives and they just like to listen, and that is awesome that you're here and able to join us no matter what. So, just to keep you up to date, right before the Lono listening break, hey Elaine, good to see you coming on in. Just before the Lono listening break, we were talking about how I might go crazy because I'm going gluten-free and sugar-free. And so, logically, what did we start talking about? Cookies! That's right, we started talking about cookies. Yeah, because we like to poke at the bear. But speaking of cookies, y'all, if you have to be gluten-free, okay, fine. This is sugary, I know. Let's forget about the sugar for a second. If you're eating sugar, but you have to be gluten-free, Tate's gluten-free flippin' cookies are some of the best. They're from like the East Coast. I want to say like the Hamptons or something. They are hoity and they are toity and they are expensive. Oh my God, they are the most delicious cookies ever. And they're a style of chocolate chip cookie that I normally don't like. I normally don't like a crispy cookie, chocolate chip cookie that is. But theirs are thin and buttery and crispy and delicious. Yeah. But I'm not going to be eating sugar or gluten-free. All right, then. I might be lying about the sugar part. The gluten-free part, though, I need to stick with. And Verity, gluten-free, am I allergic? Came in late. Yes. No. I have an autoimmune disease that gluten mimics the I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and so gluten imitates whatever it is that my body thinks is problematic about my thyroid, and it's why it's attacking my thyroid. Gluten mimics that, and so it exacerbates the autoimmune reaction. So by eating gluten, my body kills my thyroid faster. And unfortunately, there's very little I feel in regards to ill. I do have some weird sensations of ultra inflammation that I've noticed have gone down. And when I say ultra inflammation, I mean, so strange. My gums are not as swollen and my tongue is not as swollen as it used to be, even though my gums and my tongue never seemed swollen. Now that they're not as swollen, I can tell that they were swollen before. Yeah. And, oh no, we got it, baby doll. PPP bang, don't you worry. I got myself a picture right here. That's me. Yup, that's me. That's me in 1991. Maybe 1990, but probably 91. I was a senior in high school. Full on early 90s. Oh yes. Oh yes. This is the cusp. I mean, I am an 80s high school child for the most part. Yes. This is, and by the way, for the record, in the 1991s, we were shooting with color film. It was pretty weird and rare to be shooting with black and white film. Generally, only the yearbook photographers had access, and I think that one of the reasons why this picture was taken was they were trying to finish a roll of film to get developed. So let me just make it clear for all you young bucks out there who might think that back in the 1900s, we didn't have color photography. No, we did. This was an outlier photograph from the 1900s, or the 1990s. Most pictures taken in the 90s were in color. This one happens to not be. And let me see here. Oh, yes, we can. If you'll notice, and this, I wish I kept these. If you'll notice, in my arm is my personalized Peachy. And for those of you who are really familiar with glam rock lead singers, well, okay, not glam, well, okay, hard rock lead singers in the late 1980s, you might recognize who that guy is. 4 pictures, same dude. I'll leave this up for a minute, see if all y'all can gander a guess at what lead singer I thought was a super heartthrob. What lead singer I thought, to clarify, PPP Bang, what lead singer I thought was a super heartthrob in the late 80s. Lemmy would never be considered a heartthrob, as awesome as he is. Heartthrob he was not. And Terry, I do take levothyroxine. I also take, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. I also take liothyronine. I take T4 and T3. And I've gotten into arguments with my doctor about it. My doctor thinks I should only be on Synthroid, and I know better. So there you have it. Nope, C Honda, not Ozzy. I'll maybe give you a clue. Oh, Lady Misty, Janie Lane, or Bret Michaels. If I was my best friend, that would be true. She loved Janie Lane. She loved Bret Michaels. I was a little bit more hardcore. Than that. Nope, not Vince Neil from Motley Crue, but you're probably the closest of all the guesses. But they came out a little later than Motley Crue or Poison even, actually. But they've made a much bigger scene. And I dare say that the most iconic guitar intro that exists to this day was from this band. From quite possibly their biggest hit. And honestly, I cannot believe. I mean, you guys, you have to remember, the guy I'm referring to doesn't look like this anymore, but back in the day, he was a crazy redhead that I thought was really fine. Just really, I mean, how many more crazy redhead lead singers are there in the rock and roll world? You can't begin to guess, even though it's hard to find them in a jungle like that. Maybe go to a paradise city, I don't know. There we have it! Axl Rose. Axl Rose was my teenage heartthrob. And indeedy, the back of that, William Bailey, you got it. And so the back of that peachy was nothing but Axl Rose. And then I think on the front side of that peachy was nothing but Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. Because even though grunge hadn't hit the mainstream, we already knew about Soundgarden in my hometown for many years before all y'all did. I can't believe that you guys took so long to get to Guns N' Roses. And yes, that was a very educated guess. But I did give some clues. Can't find him in the jungle. Redheaded lead singer. Maybe go to Paradise City. But the fact that you knew that his name was William Bailey, well, now that tells me you might have been a super fan. That's right. You might have been a super fan. No, it wouldn't have been Firehouse. No. No, in fact, Firehouse has to be one of the most boring bands I have ever seen live. I have to say, at that age of my life, went to a lot of concerts, and I really left that concert thinking to myself, either I'm jaded and nothing impresses me anymore, or that was a really boring show. And I'm really not sure which it is. But, let's see here. Terry in Scotland, W. Axl Rose, born William Bruce Rose, is an American singer-songwriter. He's best known for being the lead vocalist and lyricist for the hard rock band Guns N' Roses. And he's been the band's sole constant member since its inception. That is very true. And Rose has been named one of the greatest singers of all time by various media outlets, including Rolling Stone. New Musical Express and Billboard. That's right. Terry in Scotland, I do know what NME is. And, yeah, I love Guns N' Roses, but I would not consider... let me see here. I respect that he's got a wide range, and at the time, he had an amazing voice. His voice has not aged well. That is what I will say. But Guns N' Roses on your walls, but Skid Row was your favorite. Lady Misty. Oh my God. Rachel Bolan, I had such a crush on that bass player. And Skid Row, awesome flipping band. Amazing band live. I saw them when they opened up for Guns N' Roses. And oh, dude, Skid Row could have headlined that. Well, first off, no, they couldn't have headlined that tour because Guns N' Roses did put on a bigger, longer, better show. But their show was so tight, they could have and should have had their own headlining show. Skid Row, so flippin' awesome. And Darlene, nope, I have to disagree with you. Rat Dog was the most boring concert I've been to. Doesn't it suck when you walk away and you're just like, huh? I think I would have had a better time staying home. You know, I spent all that money just to be all, mm-hmm. I don't know who Rat Dog is. Why? Who is Rat Dog? Because why does that name even sound familiar? Is that like Keanu Reeves' band or something? Who is Rat Dog? Totally sounds familiar. Wow. Who is it? Huh. All right, well, while we ponder that, as I mentioned, as has been the theme throughout basically this entire stream, Rat Dog is an American rock band. The group began in '95 as a side project for Grateful Dead guitarist Bob Weir. There we go. That. Okay. I knew I'd heard of it. And that would explain why I've heard of it. And yeah, I have so many things to say. I am not surprised that it maybe was boring. Because here's the deal. Jam bands can either be super awesome or really tedious. And there's a fine line that the magic is there or it's not. And I gotta say, Bob, you know, once Jerry died, your jam band days really maybe just stop. It's not the same since Jerry died, man. It's just not the same. And I don't think I ever thought I would say those words because I was never a deadhead. And that's exactly true, Rick. You've got to be in the right frame of mind. That is so true. In order for music to be as truly transcendental, transcendental's not the word I mean to say, but we're going to use that word anyway. It really helps to, be feeling it from all of your senses, man. You know, you got to be in the mood to chase rainbows, as it were, which is exactly what I did once when I was in Hawaii. And check this out, you guys. I was chasing rainbows when, we're going to start back at the beginning. When I was in Hawaii, on the very, very last day, I had nothing to do. And so I just wandered around downtown. Well, not downtown, just wandered around town. I went to the Bishop Museum for the first part of the day, and then I had a couple hours to kill. So I was just driving around, and it rained a little bit that day, and then it got sunny. And so there was rainbows everywhere. And so what I started to do was I started to look for rainbows in the sky and then drive all through the neighborhoods trying to chase them down to where I could get a really good picture of the rainbow that I was finding. And so I was chasing rainbows. And so I found this really cool rainbow. This is maybe the third rainbow I found that day. And I was like, oh dude, I'm chasing the rainbow. And so I went and I chased it to where I could find a good picture. And it turns out, boom, it was right in front of this park, right? And so I took a bunch of pictures of the park, and I hung out at the park and everything. And I had a super good time at the park. And then I realized that the park was actually some sacred springs, sacred freshwater springs that the elite used to use for their healing powers. And there used to be a heiau there, and it's all a big, like, sacred sort of spot. Except for it's not really that sacred, I guess, because, you know, people live there and everything, and it's a public park now. But in theory, it's kind of sacred. And so it was super awesome. And I thought to myself, one day I want to live near here. And then I said, hey, wait, isn't that a building of apartments right next door? And I said to myself, I want to live in that building one day. I said, that's what I want. I want to live in that building one day. Let's see if there's a picture of the building we are speaking of. There will be eventually. And so, yeah, the trees are just phenomenal. I just can't even with the trees. I know, Rick, it is. When I pulled up, that was exactly what I said. When I pulled up, I was like, oh my God, I've been here before thanks to Photo Luke's stream, right? And so this is across the street from the park, right? And then let's see here. Okay, so this is the park name, but we're not gonna. So over there on the far right-hand side, you see a white building? No, we're gonna go back. Stop. There we go. You see on the far right side of the big tree trunk, there's a little white building. Well, that's an apartment complex. And that was the apartment complex that I was like, I want to live there one day. And then, oh wait, hold on. But before that, well, not before that. So then I also took this video when I was there, of what's in the park. And the park has a bunch of chickens. Chickens! And it's got doves. And anybody from the Hawaiian Islands, if you can identify what is hanging from that tree, and what is that tree? What is that tree in the upper right-hand corner? Anyone? I don't know, so I'm truly asking. This is not a test. This is not a quiz. This is an inquiry. What? And there's chicken in the corn, and the corn can't grow no more. I don't know if that's a song, but that makes sense because chicken will eat all the corn. All the corn. I didn't mean to say porn. I meant to say corn. And yeah, all the birds, doves, chickens, etc. I don't think it's breadfruit, Darlene, because I don't think that's the right leaf for the breadfruit. And Verity Hunt, no sleeping in. Oddly, enough, my neighbors have a rooster, and I hear the rooster all night, all day, every day. And then I have there's another neighbor across the freeway, so they're not really my neighbor, but they're close enough I can still hear. Their rooster talks to the rooster from that's next door to me. And so, yeah, I already have roosters living near me, so it really isn't a big deal. And no, Terry, I don't think it's a fig because the leaf doesn't look right for what I know of a fig leaf. However, figs come in lots of varieties, so maybe. Oh, maybe it's an avocado. I don't know. Yeah, I have. Well, clearly I don't know. But anyway, so check this out, you guys. Boom. I was looking at the, because I dream and I look at the Redfin listings, they notify me all the time. A house in that apartment complex went up for sale. And, so let's see if I can do things here. Oh, wait, hold on. What's going on? Wait, damn it, darn it. Why can't I do things? I want to interact. Won't let me interact. Uh-oh. Hold on. That's not what I wanted. Uh-oh. No. Uh-oh. Okay. Hold on, you guys. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, I can't find it now. Why won't it work? Okay, you guys, we're gonna do something different here. Let's see if I can do this now. Okay. Boom. Oh, what? Why won't it let me do anything? All right, well, I was gonna show you the very basic apartment that it is. And then I was gonna ask you how much you thought it was worth. But since I can't do that, what I am gonna do instead is show you this. Hopefully. See, this was part of my tech problems. Anyway, that I thought might happen. All right, so let's see if we can do it this way. Oh, actually, how about this? Boop. And then... All right, there we go. So, this house, you guys, this house is in Molokai, and it comes, like, if you bought this condo right now, 2 bedroom, excuse me, I'm a liar, 1 bath, no, god dang it, 2 bathrooms, 1 bedroom, double 2-story condo / townhouse in Molokai, within walking distance of the western beach. I don't remember what beach it is, but it's on the western side of the island. So it is like super out of town, like pretty much almost to the end of the road, kind of out of town on the west end of Molokai. But if you wanted to buy this condo with every single thing in it, fully furnished with what you see here, this is what you could get. Literally the whole thing, including the building. Well, not the building, but the unit in the building. How much do you think they're asking for? And those of you who saw it on my Facebook, let people guess first. You might not remember. But, it's 950 some odd square feet. 2 bathroom, 1 bedroom. And Rick, yes, I do think they rent it out. I think that it's a temporary rental until they sell it. Like I mentioned to Darlene on Facebook on that thread, when Lono bought his home on Molokai, it had been a rental prior to it hitting the sale market. And I had actually dreamt of renting that particular home out on Molokai during the pandemic. So when he told me roughly where he was thinking about buying, I was like, dude, are you looking at this particular, and I pulled up the ad for the rental and I was like, is this what you're talking about? And he was like, yeah, that's exactly the house I'm talking about. And I was like, I was thinking about renting it. So, yeah, I think it absolutely, that's why it's fully furnished. I think it was probably purchased as a rental, and now they're either wanting to get out of the rental market or they're just not seeing a profit or whatever. And Mama Sean, 1.2 million, not even close. And when I say not even close, I'm talking way less, and like, I can't even exponentially way less. Exponentially way less. Darlene, 450. You're close, but still less. Yeah, well, no. Rick, you're getting closer, but a little bit more. But yeah, 355. 355,000 is what they're asking for this, fully furnished. Now, the sticky wicket, the killer is your homeowners association fees every month are $1,200. So even with no mortgage, you're looking at about 12 grand. 1,200, not 12 grand. 1,200 out of your pocket every month. So there's not to mention, your electricity, etc. But some of the utilities are included in that homeowners association fee. I can't remember which specifically. But yeah, I know, right? Well, then buy it. Honestly, Mama Sean, even though the $1,200 a month homeowners association fee is mind-boggling, seriously, this is a stupid steal. I can't even. You can literally start your life over. Like, you've got everything there. You can. This is the kind of thing that dreams are made of, right? You know, I mean, you're never gonna do it, but it's just like, I could sell my house and well, I couldn't sell my house and like pay for this whole thing, but I could put a good down payment on it. And so, Darlene, I know exactly. I feel like for what you're getting, it's very reasonably priced. I mean, the furniture alone is worth at least, I don't know, 10 grand. And I'm kind of underestimating that because some of this stuff looks kind of nice. Yeah, I mean, look at that little jungle retreat. Rick, I know, you would think it's leasehold. No, dude, it's fee simple. It's fee simple. I couldn't flippin' believe it. And for those of you who are like, what are they even talking about? On Hawaii, there's a lot of different places, but especially on Hawaii, there's two different types of property that's for sale. There's property that's actually for sale, and then there's leasehold property. And what the leasehold property is the Hawaiian lands or some other entity owns the land and has leased it out to the developers of the land. So, here. So if you are, for instance, a lot of condos in Waikiki are leasehold land. I don't know who owns the land itself, but they leased that land out to a developer, oftentimes condos, to build on it and then, build the housing. And then what you do is you buy your condo. So you buy your condo, you own your condo, but you don't own the land. You just own the condo on it. Now, these leases were 100 years, but the thing is a lot of these leases are coming up. And so a lease renegotiation, say in 2040, well, that's 16 years from now. It's a little bit of time, but it's actually not very far from now. And 16 years from now, the leaseholder of the land and the development people who developed it, they're going to renegotiate the lease terms. And if the landowner comes in and says, we got a new leaseholder in mind, we don't want anything, we're going to tear your shit down, your whole building down, and we're going to have a new developer come in and whatever. We're going to tear your whole building down and renaturalize the land. The landowner can do whatever the flying fork the landowner wants. So come time when the lease renegotiations happen, you don't know, or you can still have it, that's fine, but our terms of the lease have changed, so now we're leasing this land at a higher rate. So now everybody's cost who's on that land has increased. And so you don't want to be purchasing a property at the end of its lease, because the terms are going to change and you might be out of, and who knows, you might be out of a house. And then if, say, the landowner's like, yeah, we're tearing everything down, well, that condo that you own, who are you going to sell it to? They're tearing it down. So you've just bought into something that is literally going to be torn down. So a fee simple, on the other hand, means there's no leaseholder of the land. You own the land, and you don't have to worry about the land being used out from under you. And it's similar negotiations or it's a similar circumstance. So if I wanted to go where I grew up, there's the Port Madison Indian Reservation. I am not a tribal member of the Port Madison tribal league or tribe affiliation. So as a white person who's not a member of the tribe, if I were going to buy a house on that reservation, I can, but it would be a leasehold house because the tribe still owns the land. I own the house, the tribe owns the land. And so that is what we were talking about there. And wow, I'm sure a real estate person could have like explained it to you in about 4 words. Instead, I took like 18 minutes. Sorry about that. And yes, see, Rick, very concise. If buying, better have fee simple than leasehold. Yeah, you own the house, but you're leasing the land. See, look at all of you. Concise, tiny, sharp. There we have it, Rabbit. And, let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Darlene. Looking for fee simple or, you know, if you're not looking for a fee simple, what you really want is a lease that has been recently renegotiated. It goes on for another 100 years. Chances are you're not going to live to see the end of that lease. You know, but you don't want to catch a lease in the last 30 years, basically, is kind of what I'm what I've noticed, because I've had this dream of moving to Oahu for several years now. So I've been literally for 3-4 years now. I've been watching since the pandemic, I have been watching the real estate market in Hawaii. I haven't been watching the overarching real estate market in Hawaii. I've been watching the stuff that poor people like me can afford. And when I say poor people like me, we're still talking like $250,000 or more, because you can't find anything for less. And that's ridiculous, but let's not go into that. And Rick, saw this yesterday. Some lawmakers on Hawaii are trying to pass a law for locals only to be able to buy property. You know, I think obviously that goes against my dream, but I can appreciate where he's coming from. That being said, I would prefer Mama Sean's version, which is, it's not locals only, Rick, it's no foreigners. And pardon me while saying that F word, because oh God, it just sounded awful coming out of my mouth. But I have to say, I do agree with what Mexico, from my understanding, Mexico has a law. If you're not a Mexican national, you can't own property in Mexico. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Like, actually, that's a good idea to me. And so I kind of think that if that's the route they're going to take, I am 100% comfortable with that. I frankly think that the United States needs to think about looking at that type of thing. Now, I don't know enough about this topic to be very firm in my opinion, but the little that I do know about it, yeah, I'm fully okay with no foreign investments coming in. Like, keep it. It's an American territory now. It is what it is. So, you know, now as far as like locals only, it's like, well, that's such a hard definition. Do you mean like Native Hawaiians who hold their Native Hawaiian card? The ones that can get on that list for the homestead lands? Do you mean kama aina, meaning, you know, you live in Hawaii, but you have, you know, so many years under your belt there? So it seems like the local only would be very difficult metric to establish, but are you a U.S. citizen? Are you not? That's a pretty easy cut and dry situation right there. And I'm very comfortable with that, actually. And, yeah, Elaine, Bishop Trust owns Kamehameha schools. Right, exactly. And Mama Sean, you have a bunch of friends that own in Mexico, but they probably own in a leasehold way, not a fee simple way. The devil's in the details. Just like I can own a house on the Indian reservation, but I don't own the land. Kind of thing. And so, and I could be misunderstanding with the Mexican law. Let me just tell you right now, my sources for the Mexican law are twofold. It's what I've heard and a King of the Hill episode. So, are my resources questionable? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. My resources are questionable. But from what I've heard, And on King of the Hill, okay, so Verity Hunt, Mexico is leasehold, right? So see, yeah, you can own, and so Mama Sean's like, no, you can own in Mexico, just not beach property. Okay, see, like I said, I might not know what I'm talking about. My sources were, it's what I heard, and a King of the Hill episode. So this is a very good discussion that we're having here. But regardless of whether or not the Mexican law is for real a real law, this made up idea, I like it. Okay, like only foreign, like only national, only citizens of can own. I'm okay with that. Even if Mexico doesn't do with that, and I said that they did, and I was wrong about that, whatever. I'm still okay with that idea. And see, Honda, Thailand citizens only can purchase property. Yes, I have gotten that impression as well. And let's see here. Darlene, the Hawaiian people have been really expensed out for trying to settle, buy a home, maybe some land before foreigners can get any purchasing. Yeah, precisely. That's precisely. And which is why, Darlene, it's like, the, full-on locals only that Rick was implying makes me a little uncomfortable. I'm not sure how they're going to define that metric. But if it was like, lawmaker has an idea worth talking about. But if the lawmaker really is talking about no foreign outside of the country investments, dude, I am re-elect that lawmaker and give him not a bugle, not a bugle, not an air horn, a megaphone. Give him a megaphone. Not a bugle, not an air horn, it's a megaphone. And let's see here. Terry, I was wondering where you were today. I logged in about 20 minutes after. I logged in 24 minutes after 4 actually, and I was like, what? And Gina, am I okay? That's for you. That's for you to judge, my friend. Like I said, I warned you. I'm trying to get off sugar and I'm trying to get off gluten. Am I okay? Am I going crazy? I don't know, man. Let's find out. It seems like I'm okay. But then again, when I left the grocery store without paying for my groceries in a huff because the self-checkout wouldn't work, well, that seemed like I was okay too. So... And I don't know if you were here at the beginning, Gina, but I was struck by a fit of giggles that seems to have not really left. And so for whatever reason, I'm just giggly. And Rick, that's right. I always need a tiny piece of ground to plant my stupid soapbox on. Because yeah, I will carry that soapbox around. But awesome, you delayed the stream though. Cousins 2021 New Zealand film. Excellent. I will definitely be there to check that out for sure. Because you've got such a strange choice. Your taste in movies is very strange, and I say that not as an insult by any stretch. I actually say that because your taste in movies is something that I really like, and my taste in movies is very strange. So if I like your movies, then you must have weird taste too, by proxy. It's not an insult if I call you weird. Let me just tell you that right now. It's actually a compliment. And you think you missed the giggly fit by a second? Yeah, you might have. I tried to reel it back. And oh my God, it is 6:32. It is 6:32. So, exactly. Weird is the best. Imagine being normal. No, I can't actually. It's beyond my reality there. Beep, 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 bang. And yes, pretty much anything goes here. Not everything is open for discussion. We try to keep it sort of lighthearted as much as we can. And we know not to have a couple different trigger topics because if we're going to have an argument over soy sauce, no, we can have an argument over soy sauce, but there's other arguments that we just try to steer clear of. But an argument over soy sauce, we are definitely open for that, but not tonight. Tonight, we're 3 minutes late. We're on our own schedule. We're not on a normal schedule, we're on our own schedule. And our schedule's running whenever it is, but everybody else has a schedule too. So I'm going to wrap this up. Because you guys have lives to get back to. And I am so thankful that we could hang out here today. Yes, the shoyu, we will have a shoyu battle to end all battles. Everybody, bring your arguments of why yours is the best. I vote Yamasa, but whatever. And so, yeah, a schedule? What? Well, we do have a schedule, and I'm going to remind you guys one more time. Rick, I don't expect you to see you on Saturday. Rick has other things to do because he knows he's not going to like this movie. And other of you guys might not like this movie either, which means you'll have something else to do on Saturday at 6 p.m. West Coast time. But if you've got nothing else to do Saturday, 6 p.m. West Coast time, we're going to watch the documentary 3 Identical Strangers. It's about 3 triplets who were separated at birth and then found each other when they were like 19 and 20. And then the story kind of really begins. So, hey there, Andy. Good to see you. Yes, exactly. Show you will. That's exactly right. Show you will see you on Saturday, 6 p.m. And if not, see you Sunday at 5 p.m. But before all of that, I hope to see all y'all at Andy Wumatai's Daily Pigeon Live. Thursday, I'm guessing, 3 p.m. Hawaii time, 5 p.m. West Coast time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for all you Central Time folk. All right, y'all. Time to wrap it up. Have yourself a good night. I'll see you soon.